Welcome to the October 30th, 2024 Penfield Town Board Legislative Meeting. Would Councilman Berry please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Berry.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Leenhouts.
Here.
Ockenden.
Here.
Teglash.
Here.
Okay, first order of business is communications, and I think you're the only one with,
Okay.
I might have one, but go ahead, Amy.
During this holiday season, please remember the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf and consider donating non-perishable items for those in need in the Penfield community. This year, there is a rise in need in the Penfield area, serving over 200 households. Items most needed at this time are coffee, jam or jelly, sugar, flour, mayonnaise, beef stew, canned tomatoes, boxed potatoes, brownie mix, and cake mix. Please consider this for the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf, and they thank you for your consideration. Also, Friday, November 1st, starts the sale of leftover first-come, first-served deer management permits, also known as DMPs. DMPs cannot be sold over the phone, online, or through the mail. They must be done in person through a licensing issuing agent, which is the town clerk's office, and other retail stores. Hunters may apply for and receive up to 2 additional DMPs in the available wildlife management units and are only valid for antlerless deer. Applicants who are exempt from paying a DMP application fee or have previously applied for DMPs for this year will not be charged any additional fees during the leftover DMP application period. Otherwise, there is a non-refundable $10 application fee for leftover DMPs. For more information regarding DMPs, please call me at 340-8629, or you may contact the Department of Environmental Conservation DMP hotline at 585-226-5380. And then lastly, early voting for the general election began on October 26th. It will continue through November 3rd. If you received a postcard in the mail from the Board of Elections, that card shows your polling site name and address on the top of the card for where to vote on the actual general election day. It is not where you will be voting early voting. The election day, as you know, is November 5th, next Tuesday. But for a list of voting locations, please visit monroecounty.gov/elections or call me, and I will let you know where early voting sites are. You can also click on the QR code on the postcard, and that will help those who are able to see the list as well. That's it.
Thank you, and I just have one special announcement to want to wish Jake Weishar a happy 17th birthday. So we'll end the communications with that. Go.
Thank you. I'm not sure he's watching tonight.
I thought for sure.
No. Lucky for him, there's a replay available, though.
Okay. Anything else from the town board? All right, we'll move on to public participation. Sorry, Tim, you're too late. Sign-up's closed. Just kidding.
I did, but I mean, I only have one really quick.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Always good to see you.
Thanks, Jeff. Same here. Good evening, Town Board. Tim Murphy, 48 Corral Drive. Just one question. I mean, here tonight to talk about the budget. The presentation follows this segment of the agenda. Just got the answers, reading them now. Just wondering, is there an opportunity, in the agenda, if we do have questions, have a back and forth?
Probably not tonight, but we can get your answers, your questions answered.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it depends, if they're kind of quick questions.
I mean, I would hope so. Mr. Supervisor, again, just
Normal, I just
I
say
don't
it
feel
to be,
prepared because,
yeah,
you know,
so to be consistent with public participation, it's usually not a back and forth, but we'll certainly get whatever questions you have answered as we've done. I think Sarah did that.
okay.
Is that,
Okay, so
makes sense?
hopefully common sense will prevail, right? I mean, if I raise my hand, I can't ask a question. I mean, that's really what I'm wondering about, trying to honor the agenda.
Yeah, that's a good question. Go ahead,
Not
Pete, help me out.
I mean, public participation is public participation. Typically, there wouldn't be public participation during consideration of other parts of the agenda.
I mean, part of me honestly wants to say, sure, no problem, but it just opens up.
Okay, so just from my point of view is, you know, I got the answers this afternoon, saw them 15 minutes before I left tonight, you know,
Yeah.
just going to hear the presentation from Sarah, looking forward to it, you know, but obviously there could be some questions for clarity, and just where's the opportunity, you know, if you're going to go forward from here is like, you know, there used to be public participation at the end of the meetings. There isn't anymore. So,
Yeah, well, that's something we could talk about for next year, but yeah.
So sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult at all.
No.
It's just like, hey, you know, if there is questions, I would like to be able to ask them about regarding the budget.
Well, you
That's
can,
why we're here
you
tonight.
can absolutely answer the questions, as you've already done with Sarah, and same with last night. I mean, we could read answers, you know, at public participation next time, or I don't know what you're looking to get out of this, Tim. I guess.
Okay, sorry.
No, I'm
If I
sorry.
have questions with regards to the answers, the replies I got late this afternoon, how do I come back to you folks?
I think you can respond to Sarah's. I think you have an open dialogue, and
Yeah, and it's been great. She's been absolutely, she gave me 2 hours of her time, and we
Yeah.
went through things, and we formulated our questions after that good session. It's just like,
so it
again,
might not happen tonight, but we'll get to whatever questions you still have. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Amy, anybody we miss, or
That was, no, we don't,
Wes, did anybody call in?
no.
Not,
No calls.
okay. Any petitions tonight?
No petitions.
Okay, we'll move right to resolutions with law and finance.
Number 2014-160, Memorandum of Agreement with Civil Service Employees Association, CSEA.
So moved.
Second, I'll second.
Vote, please.
I'd like to have
sorry.
some comments or to summarize what this resolution is. The town, as folks know, updated its employee handbook earlier this year, and the town has one union as part of the Department of Public Works in the Highway Department, and they are formed under the Civil Service Employee Association. In trying to promote unity between all our employees and to promote their health and wellness, and for them to avail certain benefits that the board, with the help of the town staff, implemented as part of that handbook update. We're proposing this resolution as a memorandum of agreement, a memorandum of amendment to that union contract for 4 particular sections to equalize the bereavement leave, vacation leave, sick time, and parental leave for all town employees. The current contract with that union would be updated by this resolution adoption through the end of the current contract term of December 31st, 2026. I think this board, it was somewhat of there were, of course, administrative components to the resolution, updating it as part of the contract, but it was somewhat of a no-brainer for us, right? We want to treat all our employees with respect. We want to equalize all the benefits that they can take advantage of, and we really do respect all their work and what they bring, and we want to make Penfield a great place to work. And so I think all of us, feel free to chime in if you'd like, but we really do appreciate the highway laborers.
Right, yeah, very well said, full agreement, and it was an easy one. We had to work through the details and just the language, but I agree with you. I think it's a good move for everyone that works for the town.
And to confirm, there is no copy of the memorandum of amendment attached to this resolution 24T-160, but Supervisor, I'd like to confirm that that memorandum of amendment was already reviewed and drafted by the labor attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
And it
Yep.
would be with a retroactive effective date of September 1st?
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
And I'll just say that I'll need a copy for the hard copy for my files.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, huge win for everyone, all concerned. Thank you, Candace. Okay.
We got a vote?
Roll call.
Oh, yes, yes.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Thanks, Linda. Okay.
Authorizing the supervisor to execute the agreement associated with Monroe County's Municipal Senior Youth Congregate Programming.
So moved.
Second.
The town of Penfield will receive $431,712 in funds through Monroe County's Municipal Senior Youth Congregate Programming. It's being awarded through the county's ARPA funding. This resolution would authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement to receive those funds from the county. Thank you.
Vote, please.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Adoption of final budgets for fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
And before we discuss the resolution or move to a vote, I believe the town comptroller has a presentation to summarize the changes from the prelim budget and tonight's final budget.
Yes, thank you, Councilperson Lee. Okay, so I'm here to present the 2025 Town of Penfield budget. Very briefly, let's review 2024, a recap of initiatives, accomplishments, and enhanced services to the Town of Penfield residents. Most recently, Shadow Pines Park opened with inclusive playgrounds and pickleball courts. We have started the construction of the new DPW facility. The design phase of the Clark House renovation and expansion has been completed, and the Penfield Community Center parking lot was paved. Those are just some of the initiatives and improvements that we have seen in 2024. We were awarded several grants in 2024. These are a couple of the larger awards that we received. As Councilperson Lee mentioned, we received $431,712 through ARPA. That's the American Rescue Plan Act for senior and youth congregate programming. We also received nearly $700,000. The exact amount is $699,399 from the Monroe County Municipal Sidewalk Fund. Additionally, we received a $50,000 grant from NYSERDA for EV charging stations through the Clean Energy Communities Program. And we have a couple other grants in progress, including a grant through New York State Consolidated Funding for Climate Smart Communities funding. Through our recreation program, we offered 1,340 programs in 2024 through August, with a little over 14,000 total enrollments. To highlight some townwide events, we had 4,000 people approximately at our Independence Day event despite the rainy weather, 11 summer concerts, averaging 200 to 300 people per concert, and most recently, a little over 1,700 people attended the Halloween Family Fun event. The Penfield Public Library offers a wide range of materials, books, videos, periodicals, recordings. They also offer a wide range of programs for all ages. Notably, on October 8th, the library hosted 2024 Pulitzer Prize winner and New York Times bestselling author Jonathan Eig. In 2024, our facilities team refreshed the library with new carpeting and paint. New LED lighting is planned for 2025, which is a perfect segue into the 2025 budget highlights. As a reminder, town taxes comprise approximately 7% of your total property taxes. School taxes and county taxes are also included in your property tax dollars. Despite the small percentage, we provide the necessary day-to-day services upon which residents depend, public works services such as road and sewer maintenance, recreational programs, including our spectacular Independence Day fireworks show, as well as facets of public safety, including snow plowing. The town of Penfield continues to see growth in planned development, as well as in home improvement investments. The total town valuation increased to $4.4 billion this year. That is a slight increase from 2024 of $4.3 billion. The total town taxable valuation is an important factor in the calculation of the tax rate. Essentially, the tax levy is divided by the total town taxable valuation divided by 1,000. And that's how we arrive at your tax rate per 1,000. So the budget for fiscal year 2025 is approximately $24.5 million. This represents an appropriations increase of $4.3 million over the original 2024 budget of $20.2 million. However, this includes appropriations of $1.5 million attributed to a planned addition of nearly 15,000 linear feet of sidewalks on county roads to benefit pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. That is partially funded by the aforementioned Monroe County Sidewalk Fund Grant. It also includes nearly $1 million in ARPA-funded projects, such as the installation of AED defibrillator units at town facilities and shade structures at Rothfuss Park and Penfield Community Center. It includes the planned purchase of over $1 million in capital equipment, such as snowplows and a mini excavator. Lastly, approximately $500,000 is apportioned to cost of living wage increases and additional staffing requirements, such as increased security for town parks and facilities professionals to maintain the newly opened Shadow Pines Park and the planned Clark House event space. Like organizations from almost every sector, we're faced with the challenge of increased costs. For example, the budget over budget variance includes a 17% increase in medical insurance premiums for current staff and an 83% increase for retirees. Nonetheless, we have managed to remain just below the tax levy cap. And the tax rate remains stable at $2.10 per 1,000. For an average household valued at $271,000, the taxes are anticipated to be approximately $570.92 for the general governmental portion of the tax bill. The bottom line is that while costs are increasing, the town of Penfield has implemented strategies to offset appropriations expense and minimize the impact to taxpayers. Like many of our neighboring municipalities, the town of Penfield invests cash assets to maximize revenues and minimize future impact to taxpayers. 87% of the general fund balance is assigned to offset appropriations over the next 4 to 5 years. A portion of the fund balance, currently $15.2 million, is assigned to capital projects, specifically $5 million cash commitment to the DPW facility and $10.2 million for the Clark House and Channing Philbrick pedestrian bridges project. The remaining fund balance is assigned to support operational expense, cost of living increases, and insurance premiums. The fund balance is not currently tied to future capital projects due to the uncertainty of timelines as well as related estimated expense. General operational expenses are more predictable and therefore easier to budget for future needs. At year end, the fund balance is reevaluated, and any gains can be assigned to immediate capital project needs or to offset future operational expense. The total non-tax revenues expected to be received in 2025 are estimated higher than in 2024. We have been seeing growth in sales tax, mortgage tax, and interest rates, and though we still budget non-tax revenues conservatively, we do expect to realize greater revenues in 2025. This also includes the ARPA funds not yet recognized or received, grant reimbursements, CHIPS, PAVE New York, EWR, and other anticipated state funds. As the town is primarily a provider of services to residents, the largest percentage, 56% of the budget, is appropriated toward employee payroll and benefits. Across funds, payroll and benefits accounts for 13.7 million of the budget, a 4% increase over 2024. We plan to hire 2 new full-time employees in 2025, which would bring the full-time employee count to 119. The allocation for equipment and capital outlay is the next largest percentage. At 4.9 million, this is a substantial increase over 2024. We are spending considerably more in 2025 on improvements, sidewalks, pedestrian bridges, the Clark House, DPW facility. Contractual expenditures are down 17% from 2024 at 4.7 million, but that comprises 19% of the 2025 budget. Debt service, including principal and interest on a bond anticipation note for the new DPW facility, is a mere 5% of the budget and is a decrease of 3.5% from 2024. Infrastructure improvements. The 5% of budgeted debt service represents 1.7 million in total debt service, 1.1 million for the land acquisition of Shadow Pines and the construction of the new DPW facility, and approximately 600,000 in sewer development and improvement projects. The bonding of capital projects enables us to amortize the project over 25 or 30 years. This approach minimizes immediate budget impact and allows us to leverage our cash assets, which currently yield higher annual returns than the costs of principal and interest. I'm going to talk a little bit about our major departments. The department which receives the largest portion of the overall budget is the Department of Public Works. 11.9 million, or 49% of the proposed budget, is allocated for the maintenance of 299 town lane miles, 360 miles of storm and sanitary sewer, and the winter maintenance of an additional 131 miles of state and county roads. The DPW budget also provides for the maintenance of the town parks, totaling over 390 acres, and all town buildings. The Penfield Public Library is a wonderful resource for all of our residents. Over 170,000 people visited the Penfield Public Library in 2024, and over 10,000 patrons attended programs at the library in 2024. Again, appropriations include approximately $60,000 for new LED lighting. Our very, very busy Recreation Department will receive just over $1.4 million in the 2025 budget to support our wide variety of programs, including deer, summer camps, adult and senior fitness, swimming lessons, 4th of July celebrations, concerts in the park, etc. This is a summary of the town's 2025 operating budget, inclusive of all properties. Specific to the Highway Equipment Reserve Fund balance, appropriations are proposed to support the purchase of a mini excavator and 3 new snowplows. These purchases were anticipated for 2025 as part of the DPW's multi-year equipment plan. In addition to the town tax levy, the town and county tax bill includes levies for the fire districts and the ambulance district located in the town of Penfield. Information on their budgets can be found on the bulletin board here at Town Hall. I'm going to touch on sanitary sewer district. The total estimated cost for residential sewer services is approximately $92.67, 7 cents less per unit from 2024. As the debt service on the infrastructure is paid off, appropriations are shifted for the maintenance and upkeep of these assets. This is the 7th year in a row the rate has decreased. We do not have any sewer debt service retiring in 2025, but we will have some debt service fall off in 27 and 28. For the special districts in 2025, the drainage rate will remain flat. This funding is for the townwide drainage maintenance while adhering to all federal and state stormwater regulations. The town's drainage system is extensive and includes all retention and detention ponds, as well as our creeks and surface drainage. The lighting district rate increased a 0.1 of a point, but due to an increase in townwide lighting valuation, the typical household will actually see a slight decrease. And there is a slight increase in the special lighting district of $2.49 per parcel. This final slide is a total of all appropriations, estimated revenue sources, and the resulting tax levy. And that is the Town of Penfield general governmental budget for 2025. I would like to thank Supervisor Leenhouts and councilpersons Barry, Lee, Ockenden, and Teglash for their assistance in preparing the budget.
Well, Sarah, I just want to say thank you. You got into this right at the perfect time when you joined us, right at the beginning of budget season, and you took it right on, and there wasn't the greatest handoff. Our previous comptroller left and actually left the state, so it was all on you. You did a great job, and thank you to the town board, too, for all the guidance. New to me, new to Sarah, new to a couple of town board members, so I appreciate it, and thanks to the town staff that, we scrutinize, the newbies going into it, Sarah and I. We ruffled some feathers a little bit, but that's okay. Different eyes on the budget, so thank you.
I wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
This was a very high-level look at the budget. Are the details of the budget identical to those last known to and understood by the full town board?
Yes.
Thank you.
So along those lines, there was an internal email a couple days ago, Jeff, I think, regarding payroll for certain individuals, but, the question, and I think you know which one I'm referring to, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think some of those details, it sounded like there was already conversation between you and the supervisor and internal HR for those specific payroll questions. Have those been sorted out? Because they were kind of directed more at a very detailed, or I shouldn't say detail, at some internal details that wouldn't really, I don't think were best answered by the board. Were those sorted out, or are those still open items?
Yeah, and I'm not sure I know exactly, but nothing that would affect the budget, I guess. Is that?
Well, it was payroll related, so if I believe what Councilperson Lee is asking is those meetings that we discussed and that were some open-ended items, did they resolve how we agreed upon?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be vague, but because it's payroll, I don't want to specify the personnel that it impacted or the grades or obviously the individuals involved, so I'm not trying to be vague intentionally in that sense, but because there were questions that were asked. Did you intend for this, or how are you going to account for this, right? I just want to make sure that, so thank you, Kevin, for confirming that the budget that we had all at least last discussed and agreed upon is the budget, because again, like those 50,000 papers aren't attached to the resolution tonight, right?
Sure.
So the actual spreadsheet that we reviewed, signed off, it sounded like there were 3 follow-up questions that, again, we didn't have an opportunity to come together to discuss. So
Yeah.
were those resolved, or are there
Yeah,
any
I
other
want to say they were resolved. I mean, I would just point out with a budget, it's, if there's something we miss or needs to tweak, it's kind of a, it's a living document. So I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but my guess is they were resolved to get to this point.
So,
Do you know what I'm talking
so the
about,
budget
Sarah?
was not changed. I don't know that those issues have been fully resolved, because it has, I think, more to do with HR than it does with finance. But for the budget was not changed from the time
Okay.
that we met.
So it sounds more like an implementation question.
It is.
So I think we're going to have to circle back on that in terms of the board to see it through. And again, I'm not trying to be
Sure.
like
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
Jeff.
no,
I just don't want to, of course, given the nature of the confidentiality of it, I just don't want to disclose that on the record. But I
Yeah.
think if we can please have that as an action item to close out, and maybe we can get an internal response, because I don't think it's something for the board to, manage as the external body.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Did anybody else have any other questions or comments?
I have a suggestion, but it can be last. I think with 4 of us new to this process, I agree. Sarah, thank you for all you've done, how quickly you absorbed, turned things around, very impressed. My suggestion, though, is that we do a lessons learned on that whole process, and we look for ways to improve it. I think it will be more straightforward next year, because we won't all, 4 of us won't be newbies on it. But I always look for, when you go through something that takes this long, I think it's important, while it's top of mind, that we identify how can we improve it next year for you, for our residents, for everybody. And if there are suggestions, I think we collect those and determine what we can implement, make it better.
No, I really appreciate that. I think as I go through this whole process, and we should all be doing this, think of what we want to change for
Always, yeah.
next year before we get to the, operational meeting at the beginning of the year, or whatever it's called. I think what we did was, or I did, was go with a playbook, that was the norm for last year. My whole schedule was kind of populated that way. But there's a lot of things, including the budget, the timing of things that could tweak. Maybe more public participation, as Tim mentioned, which has come up before. But that's all something we should discuss before the end of the year, so we can tweak whatever we need to before the first organizational meeting. So, no, it's great.
I echo with that, and I had some notes that I wanted to share, but, I wanted to defer in case you had other or thoughts, or folks wanted to chime in. I mean, so the jurisdiction of the town board is very limited, even though the board is involved in so many initiatives, and we try to do as much as we can for the community in terms of legal jurisdiction, right? Managing the budget, adopting a final budget, implementing a budget, that is what we are elected to do primarily. And this year was challenging in the sense that when budget season initially starts, it was a vacancy in the comptroller, and that is so mission critical in understanding like the actual dollars and cents. And so we had somewhat of a late start, and we had to hit the ground running, which we're happy that you're here now, Sarah, and of course that we were able to work together. But so that folks know, I mean, this budget has already come a long way. You can see, as Sarah summarized, the improvements that we're making to the town, the money that we're spending, investing in maintaining our properties, providing more recreational services for you, the residents. This is where we live. It's where people work. It's where people play and gather to form our community. And so we want to do more. I think individually there were things that we wanted to do more, but we just had a very compressed time, and we have to have a budget to make sure the lights are still on, right? And so we did just that. And I think there were a lot of conversations internally. I know that you met, and Jeff, you met with a lot of the department heads to distill the budget before it got to the board. But I think next year, those are things that we want greater involvement to hear more directly with more time from all department heads, from all of the internal staff, and then really to give the public more opportunity early on to see the development of the budget, the preliminary budget, and to afford all residents an opportunity to digest the information, let it marinate a little bit, and then come back with feedback, and to have more of that opportunity to have a second draft, third draft, fourth draft, and really get to a place where all of us feel comfortable, because this is, we might be managing the house, but this is all our money, right? This is all our common funds that we are stewarding, and it's 5 people that are trying to steward for all residents, and it's not a tall order. And so this year, again, it was compressed. We did the best we could, but there's a lot more that can be done.
Yeah.
I think that one of the strengths of this board is its diversity. We all come from very different backgrounds, and we also have different connections in the community. And I think that that will allow us, with proper planning, to be much more visionary and to actually be that town of planned progress that we want to be. So,
Also well said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, too, just want to thank Sarah, because I know probably all of us here have peppered you with questions throughout the last couple of months. But as Jeff mentioned, the struggle or difficulty for staff members is just that. They come to us with that list, and then we have a few minutes, and to Candace's point, we probably need a little more time to be able to have those conversations in greater depth and understand a little bit more about what it is they're asking for. For us to just see numbers, it's kind of like, oh boy, that's a lot of money, but I think that will be helpful to educate ourselves more on each department and what they're asking for, so we can make even more informed decisions. So thank you to the staff as well, Mr. Supervisor, and again, Sarah, thank you.
Okay, great. So,
We need a vote.
yeah, we do.
Yes, so I'm going to, again, summarize the resolution. So thank you, Sarah, for that summary. And so this final proposed budget was presented, a preliminary budget was proposed to the residents on September 18th, the tentative budget, and that preliminary budget then going through additional revisions, all of which satisfy the requirements of town law, particularly for the preparation and adoption of the general budget, the highway budget, library budget, and special district budgets. Town residents had an opportunity to review and comment on the budget to the best of our ability, and with additional opportunity as the supervisor shall make fit. This shall be it's proposed as the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025. And when adopted, it should be entered into the minutes of the town board, made available for further public inspection. Will also have to be copied into the assessment rolls for the town, and for the town supervisor to make a copy to the Monroe County legislator, all required by law. And it will be in the form as last reviewed and signed off by the board.
Okay. Vote, please, Amy.
Barry?
aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Okay, I don't think we have any old business, any new business, no minutes.
I'd like to make a motion that the board enter into an executive session to discuss a personnel matter, please.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
Vote, please, Amy.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Teglash? I'm sorry. Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Okay, we're going to move to executive session. The next meeting of the town board actually is next week, November 6th. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.